me to play basketball. Go to college for a year, go to UNLV. After I left, I got drafted off fairly young, playing basketball with my friends. Didn't take anything serious of it. Fast forward a couple years later, I am now 6'2", 6'3". A year I go to UNLV. After I left, I got drafted by...
When somebody is going number 1 in the NBA draft, we automatically think that the player is super talented with unbelievably amazing skills, right? But was that true in the case of Anthony Bennett? He never really looked like a future superstar. It seems that NBA's 2013 draft have us a lot of good players for today, but also one of the biggest busts in basketball history. So let's see how bad Anthony Bennett was actually. Anthony Bennett going number 1 to the Cavaliers in the 2013 NBA draft is one of the most puzzling moves in league history. Bennett played just one season at UNLV, and he never really looked like a future superstar. Bennett averaged 16.1 points and 8.1 rebounds per game in college. But much of his success can be attributed to the weaker competition he faced in the Mountain West Conference. At 6'8" and 240 pounds, Bennett was a dominant presence inside the paint in a league with few players who could match his size. Sports Illustrated published a draft grade for Bennett after the draft, and it stated concerns about his ability from the jump. Is he a small forward or a power forward? Which position will he be able to guard in the NBA? Bennett is undersized as a power forward and could struggle to keep up with the small forwards. A better post-up game would help round out his offensive game. Bennett started just about as poorly as a rookie could in his first few games with the Cavaliers. He missed his first 15 shots over the first 4 games of his NBA career. After making 1 shot in his 5th game, Bennett went out 2 more contests without a make. Bennett shot an abysmal 35.6% from the field as a rookie. He never scored more than 19 points in his 52 games with the Cavs. Cleveland saw enough in year 1, so the team dealt Bennett to the Timberwolves in 2014. Unfortunately for Bennett, the change of scenery didn't help much. He played 57 games for Minnesota and averaged just 5.2 points per game. After the season, Bennett moved on to the Raptors, where he shot an almost impossible 29.6% from the field. Bennett then played his 4th year with the Nets before flaming out of the NBA by 2016. So why was he drafted? As it was later found out, the Cleveland Cavaliers' selection of Anthony Bennett over Victor Oladipo in the 2013 NBA draft was based on the team's needs at the time, instead of simply taking the best available player. Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com noted that in 2013, the selection of guards Kyrie Irving and Dion Waiters at the preceding 2 drafts resulted in the disastrous decision to choose Bennett instead of Oladipo, another guard. The following year, Victor Oladipo had some fans in the organization, Fedor wrote, but after snagging Irving and Waiters, the Cavs determined it made more sense to focus on a different position, choosing Anthony Bennett with a top pick, while Oladipo went 2nd overall. Whoops again! Waiters had been chosen in 2012 despite some members of the organization wanting Damian Lillard instead. That too proved to be a mistake, since Waiters is on his 4th team, while Lillard ranks among the elite NBA guards. Yet the Bennett decision haunts the Cavaliers even more. That is because Bennett was an immediate bust, playing 151 games for 4 different teams in his 4 total seasons in the league. In contrast, Oladipo has developed into a 2-time All-Star, who's an outstanding player on both sides of the court. With career numbers of 17.4 points, 4.6 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 1.7 steals per game. Still, his value to the Indiana Pacers remains immense and makes the Cavaliers' 2013 decision to choose Bennett more embarrassing with each passing year. I had Bennett 9th on my board before the 2013 NBA draft. I was shocked the Cavs took him at 1. But having said that, I'm even more shocked he's out of the league. I didn't think that would ever happen. I said to myself at the time, that's a bad pick, but I'll probably be a solid 6th man or 5th starter. Not, that's a bad pick, this dude will be out of the league, one NBA executive said. Talk to people who work in NBA front offices, and that's what you'll hear. The Cavaliers set Bennett up for failure by placing the expectations of the number 1 overall pick on his shoulders. But in a weak draft where, for the first time since 2006, no singular player or the duo of prospects had established themselves as potential number 1 overall pick, it wasn't indefensible from their perspective to make him the first ever top pick from Canada. As they were getting down to the end, I think Cavaliers general manager Chris Grant wanted to find a reason for him to be the guy. There wasn't an obvious choice among other guys. It wasn't a great draft. They were always going to have to talk themselves into a guy they knew had flaws, another NBA executive said. In the end, they trusted their scouting department and chose Bennett. It was still a surprise not only to the basketball world, but also to Bennett himself that he was selected first. "I'm just as surprised as everybody else. I had no idea. When they said my name, that's when I knew," Bennett said on draft night. Still, there was a lot to like at the time. In his lone year at UNLV, Bennett proved himself to be a diverse offensive weapon who was as adept at rising for a thunderous, powerful dunk as he was at stepping away from the hoop and hitting threes. He scored 16.1 points and grabbed 8.1 rebounds per game, while putting up a near 61% true shooting percentage and a 26% PER. May not seem like it now, but there was a lot to like about his offensive game. He hit 37.5% of his threes and finished in the 94th percentile in finishing around the basket on non-post-ups in the half court, according to Synergy. He also showed off a post game that got him nearly 1 point per possession, good for the 72nd percentile. Bennett had power, length, strength, smoothness, and polish at the college level. He showed explosiveness that could be further exploited as a pro. There was a lot to like, even if there were obvious downsides. Defensively, Bennett was also a sieve, but most scouts wrote that off, as they do with nearly every toolsy freshman. As a youth issue, that could work itself out as he got into better shape and started playing more meaningful games. But in the end, little of those skills showed up on offense, and his effort level on defense became exacerbated. In his first summer, he didn't get a chance to play in the summer league due to an injury. Then, when his rookie season rolled around, he struggled to adjust to the athleticism around him as he was still out of shape. It took the polished college scorer nearly 50 minutes of game time to score his first field goal in an NBA game. Then, over half of a season to get into double figures for the first time, something he did only 16 times in his NBA career. Where is he now? Once Bennett realized he wasn't going to find another job in the NBA, he moved to the EuroLeague in 2016. Bennett signed a deal with Fenerbahce, where he played 10 games and averaged just 1.2 per game. After a few seasons in the G League, Bennett got a second chance in the NBA with the Rockets in 2019. However, he was waived by the team before he could even play a single game because of a knee injury. Bennett's NBA career is most likely over, but he still plays competitively for his country. The former #1 overall pick plays for the Canadian national team. We could see him in the upcoming Tokyo Olympics. Later, people even started to compare Bennett and Markelle Fultz, asking which was the biggest draft bust. You remember Fultz, right? The guy who was selected by the Philadelphia 76ers with the first overall pick of the 2017 NBA draft. The Sixers saw him as the final piece of the process puzzle. Unlike teammates Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, Fultz never came into his own in a Philadelphia uniform. He averaged only 7.7 points per game in his 2 seasons in Philly. He had major issues shooting the ball to the point where he seemed like he'd never developed into the star the Sixers thought he could be. The team dealt him to Orlando. Fultz is looking much better in a Magic uniform. While he's still no superstar, he's averaging 11.7 points per game this season. A recent triple-double against the Lakers in Los Angeles proves he may be on the rise. And while both players have been fairly big disappointments, we still gotta ask the question, which one of them has more promise going forward? The answer has to be Fultz. While Bennett is playing well, he's doing it in the G League. Bennett coming back to become a solid contributor for an NBA team one day isn't completely out of the realm of possibility, but the chances of him playing at a level that would justify him being a first-round pick are almost non-existent. On the other hand, Fultz is playing much better this season, in the actual NBA. While it's true he too may never reach the heights once expected of him, he's at least playing better at the pro level. Fultz's recent triple-double against the Lakers may be a fluke, and it may not mean he's destined for NBA stardom, but at the very least, it's a step in the right direction. What do you think about Anthony Bennett? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video from us. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.